What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you're new, my name's Brandon. I just finished watching Pokemon Journey Season 4 on Netflix, and this is going to be my review of the season. Spoiler warning, many spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the season, you might not want to watch it. And since this was only 12 episodes long, that's why I'm doing this as just one video and not a video for each episode. I don't feel like it's really necessary. I can get across everything that I want to say about the whole thing in just this. This season was so good. I was not planning on making a video about this until I finished it because I just enjoyed this so much. Starting with what has become one of my favorite episodes of the Pokemon anime series overall, ever. The premiere, the Alola premiere, spectacular. To completely recapture the beauty of a past work and recapture that emotion from start to finish of the episode was just so impressive. They perfectly blended the old and the new. It just blew me away. The whole episode was just a roller coaster of emotions. From Baby Lay to catching up with Ash's team, to catching up with his friends, seeing how Kiawe interacted with Go, to getting to see how Lily and Gladion's hunt for their father is going. Being able to catch up with Beware and Mimikyu and Stuffle and Marini. It's always a complaint of mine that Team Rocket's Pokemon always tend to leave them and we never get either reunions and we never get to check in on them. Seeing them, even though it's just for like a second or two walking, just, you know, it was such a satisfying moment. The episode is just littered with things like this. It was really good. That's the only episode that I'm really going to talk about at length. Okay, next I need to talk about Ash and B's rivalry. In my opinion, this really showcases how Ash is growing as a trainer in his quest to become the greatest Pokemon master. Now he has a rival who's an actual gym leader. It's not just one of his friends. This is someone who has legitimate power, who is on the same path as him, who's trying to take down Leon. I feel like this really showcases how greatly Ash is striding the fact that he has someone like this that he's now essentially rivals with. It finally feels like he's been through 8 generations and like he's actually won a Pokemon League. And I really like the fact that he still couldn't beat her, that it ends in a draw. It's really nice. Not having a plot end within 2 episodes almost never happens. It's being really well paced. And having B actually get development too is really nice. Seeing her at the end, chilling with them, eating, having some candy. It's really nice seeing some personality on her too. I wasn't really expecting that, but it was nice. Almost every single episode felt like it was moving the plot forward in meaningful ways. We're not going to talk about the fossil episodes or the eating competition. Those aside, everything pretty much felt like it wasn't fluff. Team Rocket was one of my biggest complaints about the first 3 seasons of this show. I felt like they were kind of being wasted every time they were on screen. I felt like they were wasting my time, taking away from the plot, from moving Ash and Go forward and what they were trying to do. This season, they won. They won the show. They had the best parts. James giving Pikachu a command during the Zapdos raid battle is so satisfying. It's now one of my favorite moments. It was so good. We need to address that Wobbuffet is very clearly the smartest member of Team Rocket, filming Pikachu on a drone. How long has he been doing that for? And remembering to nab fake Pikachu when they blasted off in that episode. Wobbuffet is the only one with the priorities straight there. I'm pretty sure everyone watching the show could relate to Meowth in the episode where he's sick. And it was also a really nice reminder of how greatly Team Rocket cares about each other when they're trying to take care of Meowth. It was a pretty wholesome moment. GeneX Meowth was super cute. Wasn't expecting it. Really liked it. When they were riding Meowth's tail too, very cool. A lot of cool moments in this season. The 4th wall break was absolutely hysterical in the episode where they split it halfway. They called down the prize master and they threw the Pokeballs and it said the names of the 2 halves of the episode. It's really funny. And then the finale episode when Cinderace and Lucario blasted off and James is like, how did they do that? So meta and so funny. Team Rocket for best moments this season, for sure. The main plot popping up organically in the middle of the season was very well written, not being just shoved at the end. I really appreciated that. And the whole plot was really cute too. I really enjoyed seeing Sword and Shield done well. The fight against Eternatus, the legendary dogs were so cool. Pikachu had a really badass Thunderbolt. Pyro Ball looked really cool. Lucario was cool. The whole sequence was just very visually appealing. Now, after James giving Pikachu a command, Riolu's evolution was my second favorite moment of the season. That evolution was so perfectly done. So well executed. Which makes me also just want to point out real quick, this is one of my favorite teams that Ash has ever had. We're going to talk about Go's situation later. That's a whole other can of worms. When Chairman Rose and Oleana first popped up on the show, I was a little like, because I'm not the biggest fan of their characters from the game. This show makes me appreciate them in the game so much more. They were done really well. A complaint that I often find myself having in live action movies and TV shows is overly cartoony villains that don't feel real, antagonists that belong in cartoons, you know? Cartoony villains over the top in a cartoon actually working? What? Imagine that. The two of them worked really well. It's really refreshing to see cartoon villains in a cartoon. And before people get triggered in the comments, yes, this is an anime. We are well aware. You get the point. I always thought Leon was douchey from the moment I met him in the game up till the end of season 3. This season, he's finally cool. He grew on me a little bit. It's really nice not seeing him acting like a dick and instead trying to protect people. That said, I'm sure next season he's going to go right back to being #1 douche on the block, but it was nice seeing it while it lasted. Shout out to the Dynamax Wooloo, and also can we all just take a moment to admire Professor Sonia, waifu Sonia. Now, the only thing I did not like about this season was Go. First, credit where credit is due. He did have some good moments. Really appreciated him trying to stick up for Sonia and defending her. Dynamax Reboot was really nice. And his chemistry with Kiawe was really cool. Really appreciated him standing up for himself and sticking it that he's not Ash's rival. They're friends, they're co-workers, essentially. That was really nice. But for a kid who's supposed to be very studious and very smart, I find he's constantly making poor decisions. Since I already talked about Riolu's evolution, I'll start this with Cinderace's evolution. Reboot deserved to evolve this season, and that was probably the right episode too, but that fight, it was not satisfying the way it evolved, and Go did not deserve to win that fight. Constantly using Ember against a Milotic. Go is supposed to be smart. Why is he using Reboot to begin with in this fight? And every single shot got put down by fierce water pulses. Everything about that sequence just made me so angry. Go's supposed to be smarter than this. Nothing about that sequence was satisfying at all. Thankfully, on the flip side, Ash was carrying the show on his back. Now, the other thing that bugs me about Go is something that's always bugged me about it, but I couldn't really put my finger on it until this season. I've always been rubbed wrong about how he catches his Pokemon, and I finally figured out why. He's a good trainer to his Pokemon. He's a really good trainer. He genuinely cares about them. He cares that he's friends with them. But when they're still in the wild, before he catches them, he's so callous about it. The only concern he shows towards the wild Pokemon is catching them, and nothing past that. When it comes to legendaries, there is no concern, no conversation, no thoughts at all to natural ramifications of what would happen to that region or the environment, because legendaries are more than just Pokemon, and I know that there's more than one legendary of at least some of the species, like Zapdos. There's at least 2 Zapdoses out there, if not more, but nonetheless, he shows no care toward this aspect of them. For someone who's supposed to be so smart, why does he not acknowledge this? It just bugs me so badly. A perfect example of his carelessness for catching wild Pokemon is in the Mewtwo episode with the Mankey he catches. That Mankey would not have wanted to go with him. Mewtwo explicitly tells us all the Pokemon here in this forest are there because they don't trust humans. Every Pokemon they came across was attacking them. The Mankeys, the Kingler, the Krabby, Gyarados. That Mankey was clearly living with that other group of Mankey, and this is the first time in a long time, frankly it's the only time I can think of offhand, I'm sure there were others, where one of our protagonists catches one Mon out of a larger group that it's living with without first seeing what's going on. There was no regard for the Mankey's life pre-catch. That Mankey should not have left that forest. I'm really upset about that one. And let's compare him to Team Rocket for a second. James, throughout the history of Pokemon, every single Mon he's ever gotten, he's asked if they wanted to go with him before he tried catching them. To me, it's very obvious who the better trainer is here. Now, like I said, it wasn't all bad from Go. There's just a couple things that I needed to point out. Just a few things left I want to talk about. The reunion between Ash and Mewtwo was really, really satisfying. Love when they do stuff like that. The Torchic candy in the eating contest with Blaziken felt really messed up, and it forced really weird questions about Pokemon as food and the ethicality of it. It was such a weird moment. Okay, come to think of it, I didn't really like that moment either. Blaziken also should have won that contest. Last thing I want to say is Lucario and Cinderace are super cute. I'm not gonna lie, I am all about that shit. I am terrified about what kind of content people are gonna put out about that. Really don't want to see that. But they are adorable together. I love it. And that's all I got for you guys for today. That was my thoughts on Pokemon Journeys. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.